If you're watching this on YouTube and you have a question, comment, suggestion, or maybe you just want to find out more information about the product, you can find the link below. Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from FreeGameMan.com and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Phanteks Enthoo Primo full tower case. This is a massive box for a really large case that has lots of pictures, features, and specifications about the product on it. I think I'll open this one from the bottom and just slide the box off. You've got a couple of grab points though on the box, 2 holes on either side. That will make it a little easier to carry. It's packaged very well between 2 pieces of quality styrofoam plus another piece at the top. Notice how thick this is, so it will ensure that the case is not going to be damaged while it's being shipped. Let me take the styrofoam off here. They also have it in a plastic bag as well. Note the extra protective plastic that they have around the edges on all the shiny bits. And protective plastic on both windows. There's no mistaking that this is a full tower case. Plenty of room certainly on the inside of this to install everything imaginable. And this case is really designed for water cooling to the extreme. And I'll go through what I mean by that in just a minute. The case itself is made from mostly steel. It does have some aluminum accents at the front as well as at the top. Plus, of course, plastic, like the window on the side. In actual fact, that is plexiglass. The case itself is fairly heavy. The net weight is 17.9 kilograms, and it measures in at 320 by 725 by 705 millimeters. The overall styling, build quality, and fit and finish on this case is exceptional. Rounded corners, very elegant. There's all kinds of mesh on this case, including a top panel which can be very easily removed by pushing in 2 places on either side at the top back, and it just lifts right off. And this doubles as a very large dust filter. Included is one 140 millimeter exhaust fan, but you can install 2 more 140 millimeter optional fans if you want to. Optionally, you can install up to 4 120 millimeter fans. Now, of course, you can fit a large radiator here at the top, and I'm going to go through the radiator configuration and what sizes and where you can fit them a little later on in the video review. So let me put this back and I'll just continue. More mesh here for extra ventilation. They include 4 USB ports. The front 2 are USB 3 and the back 2 are USB 2. Included as well are these little rubber fillers. You can just take these out very easily, and those are there to just preserve the look. Included as well are 2 jacks. One is for a headphone and the other a mic. Here's the little teeny tiny reset button, an LED button, and at the front top right is the power button. And right by the power button to the left is a status LED. Like on the top panel, they have brushed aluminum on the front panels. Here's a door which opens to reveal 5 5.25-inch drive bays, and by the way, these come out really easily by pushing in on either side, and these have filters in them as well. Now this door is held into place with magnets. They are really strong, so it's not going to open accidentally on you. Now this bottom panel kind of looks like it's incorporated within the case and can't move, but that's not the situation at all. It can be removed just by pressing here in the middle. It just comes off that easily. Also, a dust filter included and tons of mesh here on the inside. And that, of course, is to allow these fans, which are, by the way, 140 millimeter LED fans, to intake cool air. Now, alternatively, you could remove these and install up to 2 120 millimeter fans if preferred. And it goes back just as easily. Now, actually, this whole entire front panel can be completely removed by just pulling at the bottom. I've kind of started it here, and then just carefully take it off Notice that they have this little lead connected. You want to disconnect that. That's super easy. With that done, you can also remove the top panel. And to remove it, just pull at the front. Now note the universal holes that they have here, which is excellent because it gives you that freedom of being able to slide either a fan or radiator back and forth. Now would probably be a good time to go over the radiator configuration. So if you want to do water cooling, you kind of want to know where you can fit different radiators. So let's go through that now. You've got a couple of different options in the 120 millimeter radiator department. At the front, you can go with a 240, at the top a 480, up to a 240, that's on the inside. I'll show you that a little later on. At the rear, a 120, and at the bottom, you can do a 480. As for 140 millimeter radiator options, at the top, you can put a radiator that's up to 420. At the rear, a 140, and at the bottom, up to a 280. Now this is the inside of the front panel. Note that where the mesh is on the right side for extra ventilation, they also have a filter here. So attention to detail on this case is exceptional. Now I haven't gotten to the inside of the case yet, but believe me, there's lots of cable management holes there. Well, they also have them at the front. There's 3 at the top and another one at the bottom. Just makes it easy and very neat to organize cables. On the left side panel there are 2 windows. One is extremely large and the other one a little bit smaller. Now at the bottom they've got 2 removable dust filters. They're kind of hidden and integrated within the case design. Also mesh on the front of them. To remove these, just press in and they come right out for cleaning. That's one, and the other one is here. Very nice, something that I haven't seen in a case design, and it does work extremely well. On the right side of the case, there's extra ventilation at the bottom as well as on the right side panel here, or just behind it is where the ATX power supply gets installed. They include a magnetic dust filter, so that's very easily removed and cleaned. Also another filter right here. Now you can install an optional 2 120 millimeter fans or a 240 rad. At the back of the case, they include extra ventilation even on the expansion slots. As well, they include a 140 millimeter exhaust fan. Note the universal screw holes here, which you can slide up and down. Perfect for radiators if you're trying to fit them, in a tight spot. Now, alternatively, you can install a 120 millimeter fan if you like. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed. They include 8 ventilated expansion slots, more ventilation here. You can also install an optional 140 millimeter or a 120 millimeter fan as well. You can punch this center part out and install a power supply here instead of the regular location over here. Of course, you could have 2 power supplies, or maybe you're doing something fancy on the inside, like you've got a reservoir that takes up this spot. Well, you can put it over here instead. So it gives you that option. Now, since this is a full tower case, there is plenty of room to work on the inside, and just about everything about the inside is modular. Almost every single piece you see here can be removed, but unfortunately the motherboard tray is not removable. Now you can fit standard ATX, extended ATX, micro ATX, as well as SSI EEB form factor motherboards on the inside. There's a toolless design on all of the 5 1/4 inch drive bays. Just slip the drive in, it will lock into place. To remove it, just press here. Very simple, elegant design. And here we have some branding. Now this is where you'd normally see a power supply installed, but remember, it is on the other side, the opposite side of this panel. I'll show you that in just a minute. At the bottom here, they include 1 140 millimeter intake fan. Alternatively, you can install a 120 millimeter. You can have 2 120s or 2 140s at the bottom. Lots of cable management holes, and they have rubber grommets on them. Video card length will vary tremendously. It depends on what modular components you actually leave in the case. If you leave it like it is with this, reservoir bracket with the aluminum top plate on it. You can fit a video card or video cards up to 257 millimeters in length. If you take this aluminum plate off, it kind of goes in a little bit for more clearance. You can fit a video card that is up to 277 millimeters in length. Now, if you have this bracket completely removed, you can fit a video card that is up to 350 millimeters in length. And from there, it varies if you have the front hard drive cages installed or not. It goes anywhere from 390 millimeters all the way up to 515 millimeters. And as for cooler height, you can fit one that is up to 207 millimeters in height. And note the thumb screws that they have on the expansion slots. Now, where the power supply goes on the right side of the case, they include this box, and in it they include a toolbox with all kinds of screws that is required for installing the different components, as well as some cable ties, as well as Velcro ties, some sponge pieces, a user's manual, and this is a bracket for a 240 radiator, and I'll show you in just a minute where this goes. With the right side panel removed, you can see what's going on. Behind the motherboard tray, you've got all kinds of cables routed everywhere. They include these Velcro tie downs for easy organization of the cables, as well as a fan hub. And the cool thing about this is you can connect the 4-pin lead from the motherboard's CPU fan header into this, and then control the speed from the motherboard of all the other fans in the case. Now, it's kind of neat how they have a separate compartment here for the power supply and the pump. There's a couple of reasons for this, and the main one is heat and mess. You can't see it from the other side, so it's not going to look messy. Also, the power supply will give off some heat, and that heat will not go inside the case. Remember, this side panel, the right panel, has ventilation. The power supply's fan will intake cool air and port the warm air out the back. They include 6 rubber rests for the power supply to lodge on. Also, the pump has this nice rubber rest on the top as well. And by the way, this pump bracket should fit most pumps, and to take it off, it just requires removing 2 thumb screws, one on either side. Now, as for power supply length, well, that's going to vary. Depends on whether you have this pump plate installed or not, but from anywhere 7 inches, which is around 18 centimeters, to around 12 inches, 1 foot, to 30 centimeters. As well, 2 hard drive cages or drive cages. You can install up to 6 3.5-inch drives, or up to 6 2.5-inch drives in both of these removable drive cages. Now, you can also install an additional 6 2.5-inch drives, but one of the mounts is here, and I believe you'll have to purchase that separately. And these are the other 2.5-inch mounts here. These install very easily. Just put the solid-state drives on them, and once you have that, you can just slide them in and out like so. Very easy. So 2 here, 2 there, and if you get another one of these brackets, you can install another one here. Installing drives in these enclosures is super easy. First, you'll need to remove the drive enclosure by pinching at the front. Once you've done so, you can bend it to install a 3.5-inch drive. So bend and place the drive in. It will pop into these 4 different slots here. And by the way, they have silicone grommets here to prevent vibrations. Now, to install a 2.5-inch drive, well, you'll need to secure it with the included 4 screws. Once you've done that, you can just slide it right back into place. So this bracket, which you can install a 240 rad or 2 120mm fans on, gets installed here, but you would first need to remove both of these hard drive cages. Note that there's 30 millimeters of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel, so that's lots of space to organize all kinds of cables, even water cooling tubes back here if you want to. As well, take a closer look at this fan hub. You've got the 4-pin connection here. You've got 6 3-pin fan connections, as well as a 4-pin power supply Mullux lead, which of course gets connected into the power supply's 4-pin Mullux connector. Something that I almost forgot to show you is the LEDs that are at the front, as well as at the top of the case. And remember that switch? Well, you can use that to turn the LEDs on or off. At the bottom are 7 rubber feet, and of course these filters, which I showed you earlier, they slide right out. Note how the bottom is elevated off of the floor or whatever surface it is on. That's important to allow the bottom fans to intake cool air. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling. If you're in the market for a monster full tower case and you need to fill it up with all kinds of computer gear, plus water cooling and all that great stuff, this is definitely the case for you. It looks brilliant. The overall styling of this is exceptional, as well as the fit and finish. They pretty much thought of everything with this case. Overall, without a doubt, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. How do you think this product stacks up? To vote, head on over to 3dgameman.com, and while you're there, check out the pricing.